We are going to discuss here in this lesson the life of the planet. Before going to see the life of the planet, we are going to see our own life. So in our mindset, you see, we have shifted. One hopes, one thinks, one expects irrevocably. There is no rethinking, nothing to return to think. From the mechanistic view to a holistic and ecological view. We have a routine thinking about something. From there, we shifted our mindset. We shifted our mindset. The attitude is changed towards the earth. Attitude is changed. You see, next sentence very important. It is a shift in human perceptions. Underline. A shift in human perceptions. Perception. My attitude, my outlook, my thought. All these meanings are there. My outlook of mind, my attitude. There is a shift. In my attitude, I have a shift. When I see you on this platform, I have a mindset. I have a mindset. When I see you offline, when you come in front of me, my mindset will change. Because I see the human being directly. Clear now? Perception. Perception. Here the human perception was totally changed. Totally changed means a drastic change. It is explained here as revolutionary as. A revolutionistic change. How? As revolutionary as that introduced by Copernicus. You are science students. You know Copernicus. Copernicus was a revolutionary man, not a military man, not a militant, isn't it? Nowadays, when we say revolutionary, it has a negative meaning. He is a militant. He is opposing everything. No. Here, Copernicus in the 16th and 17th century, he was a revolutionary scientist. He brought revolutionary ideas that totally changed the mindset of the people. That totally changed the mindset of the people. What was the mindset? Up to 16th century, people believed that earth is standing still. Earth is not moving. Shabri, earth is not moving. In 16th century, earth was not moving. Then started, gear changed. Now 17th century onwards, earth started moving. Human perception was like that, Tom Sinton. Human perception was like that. From the very beginning of the earth, this universe, till 17th, there are some, when the political parties after election, they share the party, isn't it? Share the rule, isn't it? First 2.5 years, he will be the chief minister. Second half, he will be the chief minister. changing the baton in the relay like that, isn't it? So the solar system made a relay travel. From the very beginning, sun told, I will run 1,700 years. Then next 1,700 years, earth has to run. In a mutual agreement, understanding, a mutual understanding. Clear now? So till 17th century, people believed that earth is still and sun is moving, sun is rotating. In the morning, it comes in the east and it travels 12 hours and reaches evening by west. But in the 17th century, Copernicus brought a revolutionary idea. He told, my dear human beings, you are foolish fellows. You are foolish fellows. What do you think is wrong? What do you think is wrong? Really, sun is standing still and our earth is revolving. Clear now? Suppose you have a very large house at home, isn't it? A large house. Very beautifully furnished, internal, external designs and all these things. And you believed that it is my house, my own home. Tomorrow morning, monsoon comes. Monsoon comes. Today's hero, isn't it? He says, my dear friend, this is my house. Get out. Suppose somebody comes and says, get out. This is my house. And he shows the paper. And your parent is not there. What will be your understand? What will be your condition? I have to japti. Is it japti? In the same way, Copernicus told one morning, my dear friends, our earth is moving. The sun is standing still. People could not digest. People could not accept. It was a revolutionary idea. Clear now? Clear now? In such a way, as it was a revolutionary idea, there was a shift in the mindset of the people. What was that? You see, introduced by Copernicus, who taught mankind in the 16th century. 16th century, that Earth and other planets revolved around the sun. That was Copernicus' invention. That was a revolutionary thought. For the first time in human history, there is a growing worldwide consciousness. Underline. For the first time in world history, human history, there was a growing worldwide consciousness, worldwide global consciousness. Tom Sebastian, following me? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a global consciousness. What was that? That earth itself is a living organism. You see, Tom Sebastian, suppose people were thinking that what do you mean by earth? Rock and soil, isn't it? And you science people may say it is a mass. It is a mass. Oh, scientific thought, scientific terms. It is a mass of stone and soil and water. Yes, yes. You will speak like that, isn't it? A mass of soil and rock is floating or standing in the midst of water body. You won't say ocean. You people say water body. Clear now? Am I right? That was the concept of the people. And to you, one man comes and says, Josie sir says, what do you think about the world, the earth. My dear friends, our earth is a living organism. It has life. What would you say, Anashura? What would you say? Oh, Josie sir is just like Naranath Brandhan, isn't it? Isn't it? All on a sudden, he comes and tells us that this earth is a living organism. Can it breathe? Josie sir, what do you say? Clear now? Alantina? Will you call me? Naranath Brandhan. Isn't if I say, Niranjan, it would be a drastic change. Normally people wouldn't be able to accept it. This is the shift. This is what is called a shift. This is what is called the shift of human perception. Understood? Clear now? This is what is called the shift in human perception. That people began to think that this earth is a living organism. It has life. That is why people call earth Mother Earth, isn't it? Mother Earth, Bhumi Mata, isn't it? Because people consider earth as a living organism. You see, organism, an enormous being, a huge being that you can understand. Married being means living organism, isn't it? That has life. An enormous being, a large being, a huge organism of which we are parts. We are its hands and legs. The main body is earth. Main body is earth. You see, it has its own metabolic needs that you people understand, biology people understand. Metabolism, the needs of the human body, living body, that is called the metabolism. So, earth has its own metabolic needs and vital process which to be respected and preserved. Underline those. This is what is called a living organism. Living organism. Very many years ago, I had a perception about us, about the existence of man on the earth. Clear now? Very many years ago, I keep my own perception about the existence of human being on the earth. But I was unable to explain how to explain this one to the students. Because of my long search, my God sent me Corona to explain this perception. Chabri, to explain this perception, Corona came. Alantina, Corona came. When I see the Corona news on the paper, I got my idea to how to explain. How to explain. And I will show you. I will show you how Corona helped me in this matter. You see, Corona's monogram. How is Corona's monogram? Isn't it like rambutan? Isn't it like rambutan? Now I got the word rambutan. That is also helps me. You see, a literary man will find out things from the world. Rambutan will help me. No need of Corona. These are human beings. These are human beings. Sabri, do you know how do you stand on the earth? You are standing like this man. You are standing like this man. Because of this gravitational force, your feet is pulled towards the center and you are standing there. The people who are standing here, they are standing here like this. Clear now? Because earth is round. Here the people are standing like this. This was my perception. This is my perception. If when the gravitation force is broken, the string is cut, what will happen? This will fall down. This will fall down. Clear now? So where is your position? The shift of human perception is like that. This is the large organism. This is a living organism, earth. And the human beings are parts, hands, legs. Clear now? Understand? This is the perception. This is the perception. This is the perception. So you see, it is an enormous being, a living organism of which we are different parts. Nobody should be proud that I am something. No. Nobody is something. Earth is something. We are nothing. This is the shift in the human perception. This is the shift in the human perception. You see, the earth's vital signs reveal a patient in declining health. History shows. This is a history written 50 years ago. So what would be the condition now? 50 years ago, our Mother Earth is sent to ICU. Nani Palkiwala says, 50 years ago, Earth was a living organism. That means from the very beginning, Earth was a living organism and no human being took care of it. So it kanyi vellam kodutilla enartham. People, its own children, did not give food to the earth. So what happened? Because of poverty, because of ill health, the Mother Earth, the living organism became sick. And in 1970 or 1990, Earth was sent to ICU. It is written here. Because of ill health, you see, vital signs means important signs reveal a patient, earth as a patient, decreasing its health. We have begun to realize our ethical obligations. Ethical common understanding, we can understand moral obligations, other side of moral and ethical obligations. So, you see, we have begun to realize when Earth was sent to ICU, we became aware our moral principle, our moral duty. You see, Amma was saying every day, Mone, nenchu or Amma was saying, for you, Amma was saying, Chankini Bhayangra Vedana. So, son has no time to look after. Son told Amma, take a paracetamol and take rest. Take rest. Every day, Amma was taking one paracetamol or two paracetamol and she was lying down. One day, Amma was crying on the bed, severe chest pain. And she was taken to hospital at that time. Doctor told it was a severe attack. Minor attacks were there previously. When Amma was saying chest pain, it was minor attack. This is severe attack. She should be kept in intensive care unit, ICU, for 5 days. Now, son realized that my mother is sick. Clear now. When mother is sent to ICU, then only son realized that his mother was serious. Human beings were using this earth according to his whims and fancies, according to his desires for last these many centuries. And in this 20th century only, humans realized that my amma was sick. My amma was sent to ICU. Clear now? Humans realized. You see, this is written here. Josie sir is not saying. This is written in the book. Palkiwala has written, and it is a reality. You see? Now the son realized his obligation. The son told the doctors, Aisha, I am ready to pay whatever be the amount, 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs. You have to save my mother. You see? One paracetamol is changed into 20 lakhs. Clear now? Why the son realized his ethical and moral obligation, that it is his duty to save the life of his mother. Am I right? Am I right? After 20 centuries, humans realized that this earth is a living organism and it is decreasing its own health. So it is kept in ICU, and the humans realize it is his responsibility to take care of it. Marin, do you follow? Clear now? So we have begun to realize our ethical obligations to be good stewards. Stewards means security guard, watchman, steward, security guard. Here means watch. Not watch dogs. Dogs. We cannot call each other dogs, isn't it? Really, watch dogs. Watch animals. Don't say the word dogs. Watch animals. Watchmen. Security guards. In the lower classes, I heard that children are taught dogs guards our home, isn't it? Dogs guards our home. So dogs are the symbol of securities. So even the dog is not there, a kennel is there, people will be afraid to open the gate, isn't it? It is better to keep a kennel there. Dog house, kennel, near the gate. Don't keep the dog and write a board outside. Kadikata naayunde sookshiക്കുക, isn't it? So people will not come and open the gate. So here it is said, we are good stewards. We should be good stewards. We should be good people to take care of this earth and good stewards of the planet and responsible trustees. Responsible trustees of the legacy to the future generation. This is the two responsibility handed over to you. One, you should be a human being, should be a good steward of the planet. He has the moral obligation to take care of the needs of the planet. When mother is in the ICU, nurse comes and tells, you are sitting outside the ICU, isn't it? Mother comes and tells, Amma needs one tender coconut. People say, if you want to die, die in the ICU. People say, if you want to die, die to be in the ICU. Why? Whatever you ask, you will get it. Whatever you ask, you will get it. The nurse comes and tells the relatives, patient needs one tender coconut. How many tender coconut you will purchase? You will buy 5 tender coconuts. Sometimes again he may ask, so we shall give. So one, when you ask one, you are getting 5. Clear now? Clear now? While she was in the bed, she asked, tender coconut, if I get it is very good. Tender coconut. I am not talking about you people. You are very, very responsible grandchildren. I know. People outside, I see some people. We get Bisleri water that is purer than tender coconut. You drink pure Bisleri. And that Amma is in the ICU. The son is ready to purchase, buy 5 coconuts. So you should be good stewards, taking care of the earth. And you should be responsible trustees of the legacy. What is legacy? Legacy is the parental property, inherited property, kudumba sottu, taravattu sottu. A property that is handed over by the generation, grandfathers. That is what is called legacy. You see, your parental house is built by your grandfather or grandfather, and it was handed over to your grandfather, and your grandfather handed over this to your father, and father will make some arrangements, renovations, and it will be handed over to you. Taravadu, parental property, legacy. We keep many things that were used by our grandfather as precious thing, as antique, and antique is very costly. Legacy. I know there are many families made quarrel on behalf of the bed, on behalf of the cot, on behalf of the table, on behalf of the chair used by the grandfather. Everybody says, I want it. Legacy. It has great value. Legacy is like a treasure. And you are the trustee, one who takes care of that property. One who takes care of that property. You are trustee. For what purpose? To hand over to the coming generation. Suppose father gave you a box with 10 lakhs rupees and 5 kilo gold. Suppose 10 lakhs rupees in a box and another box 5 kilo gold. And father told Jewel, my son Jewel, whatever you want, you can use it. For your purpose, you may use it. And the rest, you should procure and keep it for your son and hand over it as a gift from his grandfather. Okay. This is the word given to Jewel. His name itself is Jewel, isn't it? Gold. Jewel thought, suppose, Jewel is a poor boy. He thought, father died. Simply, I will say the story. Father died. Now my son is only 2 years old. He doesn't understand anything. And Jewel used the money and spent everything. Spent the whole 5 kilo gold and 10 lakh. He kept there 50,000 rupees in the box. Father told, you can spend as you wish, but you have to keep the rest to your son. 50,000 is rest, isn't it? And when the son is grown up, he handed over the box. Mone, this is handed over by grandfather for you. He opened only 50,000 rupees. Are you a responsible trustee? No, we exploited the box. It is our duty to keep as it is safe in our hands and hand over to the next generation. Next generation. That is what it is called. Underline. Good stewards of the planet and responsible trustees for the future generation. The concept of sustainable development was popularized in 1987 by the World Commission of Environment and Development. So, in 1987, a commission was developed in order to protect the environment. That is in 1987. In its report, it defined the ideas. In its report, it wrote its idea, its concept. What is that? Development that meets the needs of the present without compromising ability of future generation to meet their needs. This is the definition given by the Commission for Development. Development. People go for license. How many of you have a license? Can you raise the hand? How many of you have a license? Nobody has license. Okay, I agree. Thank you very much. And let me next question. How many of you ride scooter? Tom Sindo? I saw you one day on Mananjeri Kundu with the two-wheeler. Shabari, I saw you in Tiruthu. Marin, are you driving two-wheeler? Sir, I am driving Romeo only. Romayo. Yes, okay. Romai. Alentina, Romai. Okay. I know. Okay. Everything is okay. Niranjan, which bullet you are riding? So what means we don't have that? If we are doing without license like this, we are doing without license. So if you get license, what will you do? Without license, you are riding the two-wheeler like this. 80 kilometer, 90 kilometer, 70, 60. And no kilometer is there below 60. Starting kilometer 60. So if you get the license, starting will be 80, isn't it? I rode 25 kilometer. I got a fracture on my hand. At 25 kilometer per hour. So if you go by 80 kilometers, what will you know? Bond will be steady there. So development is defined here. You see, development is defined. You make a development that needs for the present society. What is needed for today, you make it. According to the demand of today, you make a development. And by the name development, you are not permitted to exploit what is kept for the future generation. What we are doing is that in the name of development, we are exploiting the earth. For making a bed, you need to cut only one tree. When permission is given, chance I got chance. I may cut 10 trees. This is what is called. You can make development, but make the things what is needed today. There is no compromise in exploiting the demand of the future. That is the thing. You see? Development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their needs. That is, without, this is the definition, this is the explanation, without stripping, taking away. Strip here means take away. Without stripping the natural world of resources future generation would need. The earth has a lot of natural resources. The earth has gold mines. The earth has diamond mines. Earth has iron mines, iron ores. Earth has a lot of sulfate. Everything is there. Earth has forests. Earth has fisheries. But you should not take what is deposited for the future. You take it only for your need. You see, without stripping the natural world of resources, the resources, natural resources of the earth, which the future generation would need. Sometimes mommy prepares a very good dish at home. At home. Yeah, when we were small children, 8, 9 children were there. I told you, we were 8, 9 children. So if my mama prepares 1 kilo kappa, there will be a small piece for each one. So suppose if mama prepares chicken, seldom we get 1 or 2 pieces. Sometimes some potato and some juice only. So when we ask extra, mummy says, "Da mone, kochingla vere indu." Smaller one are there. So what mummy understands our character, isn't it? We are villains. Elder ones are villains. We will bulge our eyes towards the younger ones. They may be afraid and they would say, no, I don't want, no. Give to Chetan. So mummy, what does he do? She will take the good part and she will keep away something. That is for the children, little ones. Because we will strip those resources from the pot that is kept for the younger ones, future generation. And the commission says, this is not development. Development you have to do. You can take the resources from the earth and you can utilize what is needed for today. You should not strip. You should not take that is kept for the future generation. That is kept for the future generation. Okay. In the zoo at Lusaka, Zambia, Lusaka is a town in Zambia, there was a zoo. There is a cage where a notice reads, there was a cage. In the zoo, a large cage is made, and in front of that, one board is kept. What is the board? The world's most dangerous animal is in that cage. You may think hippopotamus, you may see a dinosaur, you may see a tiger, you may think a lion, you may think a leopard. The most dangerous animal, and people are going there to watch the animal inside the cage. You see, inside the cage, there is no animal. In the cage, there is no animal, but a mirror. A mirror is kept where your reflection will be seen. In that mirror. The mirror is inside the cage. When you go there and look at the mirror, you will see your own image. Mehrin, who is the most dangerous animal now? Who is in the cage? Clear now. You are in the cage. You are in the cage. You are the most horrible being. 50 years ago, 30 years ago, Nani Palkiwala wrote, man is the most dangerous animal. No doubt, no doubt. You read the newspaper. You read the newspaper. Every day you will see the atrocities done by human being. Last week, we have seen one boy has cut the neck of a student in the campus. Today in the newspaper, we have seen one judgment, isn't it? Wife was bitten by a snake. Many newspaper news, we read it. Man is the most dangerous animal. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? You are afraid to say. Nowadays, you are not afraid of snake. Medicine is there. You are not afraid of a tiger, because tiger is always coming to the residential area. It is a common thing. You are not afraid, but you are afraid of a man. You are afraid of a man. Human being has become a dangerous, the most dangerous animal. It was a prediction, and today it is a reality. It was a prediction 30 years ago. It was a prediction. When we were small children, we could walk around the villages even in the midnight. We went to see drama. We went to see the festivals even in the midnight. No fear was there. Girls and women were walking along the village streets of our village. They were walking freely without fear. Now, after 7 o'clock, will you go out? If you go out, what your father will say, don't go alone, go with somebody else. Am I right? Am I right? Why? The most dangerous animal is outside. The most dangerous animal is outside. You should be very careful. In Lusaka, in Zambia, they have made the man the most dangerous animal. The most dangerous animal. You see? In the mirror, you see yourself. Thanks to the efforts of a number of agencies in different countries, and making awareness has now dawned upon the most dangerous animal in the world. Thanks to the world has made a new awareness into this most dangerous animal, that you are not the master. You are not the master of the universe. You are not the master of the earth. You see, what is the wisdom? What is a wisdom that is developed? Page number 1, last line, a shift of perception. Underline, a shift of perception. What is that? Wisdom and knowledge. Shifting from a system based on domination, man's supremacy over the earth, that is domination. Till that time, human being told, I am the master. Earth is only a mass of non-living things, and I can do whatever I want. People say, India is my, every day we are taking the pledge, isn't it? India is my country. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. India is my country. Who are you to ask? I can walk anywhere in the world. I can ride my scooter in the midst of the road. Who are you to ask? India is my country. This is my land, my own land. Isn't it? India. I will ride my scooter wherever I want, in the midst of the express highway. Who are you to ask? You see, that was previous thought. There was a shift, a drastic shift, a revolutionary shift. He says, sorry. Unknowingly, I told India is my country and I can use any land according to my whims and fancies. You see, a shift of domination to one system based on partnership. I am only a partner. We all are equals. Earth and all human beings are equals. From the level of domination to the level of partnership. considering earth as a large human living organism. This is the shift of perception. Clear now? First page, last line is defined here. This is the shift. This is the shift of perception in the thought, human thought. So the most dangerous animal began to think that earth is a living organism and all human beings are partners. It is our moral responsibility to take care of each and everyone, at the same time take care of the earth. Clear now? The rest we will see in the next class. Okay, thank you.